are underway now. You can see the athletes striking around that first bend there for the start of the Battersea Park 10k, our second top flight fixture of the series in 2025. So what we'll do now is we'll pull up a little graphic onto the screen for you. This will give you our start list for the men's and women's races, so that should be coming on any second now. But you can see Omar straight to the front there. This is how he attacks races. He hits the front hard and he just gets on with his running. Now, we did mention in the build up to this race, has the blueprint been laid to beat Omar sitting on his shoulder, because it's a hard task running from the front. You've not only got to be running quick, but you've also got the pressure of other athletes on your shoulder, and that does take energy, and it's a skill to be able to battle through a race on the front and keep that cool and keep that energy kept up there. So you can see Omar straight on the front, Cam Allen on his shoulder, and we're out into Battersea Park. So we'll bring that graphic on the screen for you as soon as possible with our start lists. I think what you mentioned there is it's really key actually about Sam Gabriel-Selassie there. So Sam Gabriel-Selassie, he obviously knows how to win because he won Newcastle. Now he's doing the right thing here. He's just sitting back. He's letting the other athletes do the work, but he's not even right on the shoulder, so there's no pressure there. He's just watching it all unfold. He can cover the moves, and he's got a lovely, smooth, silky style. So, you know, Sam Gabriel-Selassie there, sat in, knows what he's doing, and he's just watching this race unfold. And that, for me, is one of the greatest positions to be in. Slightly different to Cam and Omar, who are on the front there. There's a different strain when you're on the front, whether you're sat on the shoulder as opposed to being sat in that pack and just relaxing and watching it all unfold. So yeah, I think that's brilliant what Sam Gabriel-Selassie is doing there.
Absolutely, and we can just say a camera on the women's race there. So as always, Top Flight, we try and give equal coverage to the men's and women's race. Logistically, sometimes it can be a little bit tricky, but we do try and cover as much of the women's race as possible. Now you can see Battersea Park is a little bit busy this morning, but I think we do have in the women's field, I believe that to be Jess Gibbon at the front there. So as the race pans out and we start to get a little bit more coverage on the women, we will bring you some more information on that as well.
I think one athlete I do want to give a shout out to, because I cut them in the start list last night when I was doing a little bit of research there, is a gentleman called Alex Milne. He was 7th in the World 100k Championships in 6 hours and 43 minutes. So just to put that in context, for 100k he was averaging around 4 minutes per kilometre, so that's 40 minutes per 10k times 10. So that is a phenomenal run, and talk about mental strength. You know, that's next level kind of stuff. So big shout out Alex Milne there. He's nestled in this field somewhere, but yeah, brilliant to see that we've got such a range of athletes coming to these events. Back to the second stream that we've got, there's been some big developments in the men's race here. We've got Cam Allen and Omar Ahmed have broke away from the group. Now that's a big move because there's some quality operators in that second group that they're left behind there. And surprisingly, it's not Omar Ahmed that's on the front. Cam Allen is doing all the work here, but he's taking it to the field. And maybe he's thought, you know, we've seen that Sam Gabriel-Selassie, the way that he beat Omar Ahmed, well, maybe Cam Allen's thought today, well, I'm going to beat her as well, but I'm going to do it a slightly different way. So we've got these two guys that really struck out at the front. They're going to be approaching the halfway mark now. So yeah, big changes in the men's race, and back to the second stream and the women's race, and Jess Gibbon is slowly hauling in that group in front. So some fantastic performances at both ends of the race.
Going back to what we were talking about with the form with Jess Gibbon, you know, I mean, I'm just watching her now. She's very, very fluent, isn't she? You know, yes. The knee lift's not too high when she's on the road. She's, you know, very symmetrical when she's running. And again, maybe, you know, it is early on, so you know, whether that'll start to dwindle a little bit, I mean, that would be natural. But yeah, she's sort of working her way through the field, and she looks like she's running pretty even pace at the moment. Yeah.
To the men's race, Omar and Cam side by side here, and you know what, they both look fantastic.
They really do. They both look very, very strong, very comfortable. They have completely left the rest of the field. Now, this is surprising. We saw the strength from Sam Gabriel-Selassie and Newcastle 10k. Where is he? What has happened to Sam? How come there's such a big gap on the rest of the field now?
I think the gap is because of I mean, Sam Gabriel-Selassie ran a PB in 29
which is
a fantastic run. To be running that kind of pace, he's going to be going through halfway in about 40, 50 something. Today, they've gone through around about 30 seconds quicker than that, which, you know, it's big running on the front for men. 32, and that's why they're so far ahead. Cam, over you. I can see you itching to say something in the studio here, Cam.
Thanks, Red. I think, I was just pointing to Red. The reason he said that is I was just pointing at Kamal to my face, because only about 15 seconds ago, 100, 200 meters ago, it looked to me as if Omar was testing the waters again, and he was starting to put a bit of a surge in. And you can just see they're constantly switching, side by side, and then one's in front of the other. But Cam Allen was really starting to grimace. What was interesting here is that although he was starting to grimace, Cam Allen decided to hit the front again and push the pace on again. So it's as if he's just trying to sort of play Omar against his own game.
Fantastic viewing this, because Omar is playing such a game, and I wonder if he's just thought back on Newcastle and go, you know what, I was a bit of a mug. I took on the wind in the Newcastle 10k, and Sam sat on me. He did no work, and he's thought, actually, I'm going to play my tactics completely differently for this race. I'm going to have a bit of a play around with the field here, and see if I can go for a win in a separate tactic. But if Cam did watch that race, he would know that Omar doesn't have the strongest of kicks. So if Cam can just hang on, and I know he seems to be grimacing a little bit, but if he can hang on, and if he's got something in his legs, he can potentially go for the kick, go for the win. He just needs to perhaps not play too much into Omar's games here.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you what is happening though. The temperature's rising at the front of that race, and these two guys are cooking up an absolute storm in that kitchen at Battersea Park there. So all eyes peeled on that. What I will say, we're going to dive back to that second stream there, because I keep on keeping an eye on Jess Gibbon here. And I watched her go past the athlete in the pink vest there, and now she's moving on to the back of another group. So fantastic running from Jess Gibbon here. I'm really excited to see if she can get close to that 32-minute mark and go sub 32, because that would be a huge performance for her this morning in Battersea Park. Back to the men's race, and it looks like it's now Cam Allen's turn on the front, and Cam Allen looks like he's hurt. He's working hard. Has he got a definitive gap here? It's so hard to see when the camera angle's front on. 1 minute we think one's going to get away, then the other one pulls them back in, then they hit the front. It's such a cat and mouse here, and we've probably got about another 2 minutes of running to go, so we're within 1,000 metres of the finish line now. And like I said before, these guys are really shaking, rattling and rolling at the front, and they're Cameron Boyack.
Looks to me like there's a gap opening up, and it looks like Cam Allen is increasing the pace. He's been grimacing now for about, I would say, a good 2.5, 3k right now, but just shows how tough he really is. I know he's in good shape. He's raced a few times over cross country. He was a bronze medalist at the Glasgow UK Challenge, 4th place at the recent Leeds 1-2. I'm looking forward to seeing how fast he's actually going to finish here, because it looks like Omar's finally been broken, but Cam Allen, he cannot ease off the pace here. If he eases off the gas, Omar could start to reel him back in just a little bit.
We are seeing Cam Allen pull away, just like what we saw in Newcastle 10k. Sam Gabriel-Selassie pulled away from Omar, went for the kick. Is Cam Allen, he's got one hell of a gap now on Omar.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Stacey, we were 26 minutes at the 9k mark, so they're going to be coming home in under 29 minutes, both of these athletes here. Now it's a case of Cam Allen against the clock, because he has absolutely gapped Omar this last k there. So I'm so intrigued to see how quick he's going, Cam. If he's knocking in a 240k, you're on for a 28-minute 40 10k, which is fantastic running. We can also see Jess Gibbon, the cadence looks as though it's picked up a little bit, the stride looks a bit longer, and I will say the arms are pumping and the knees are driving a little bit there. So Jess Gibbon also on for a quick time. We will bring you her 9k split as soon as we can get that. But Cam Allen is destroyed Omar Ahmed this last k. Yeah, this is fantastic running.
I'm so impressed with Cam Allen, the fact that he's not played into Omar's games at all. Omar, we've seen throughout this race him doing a little bit of a cat and mouse tactic, pushing the pace on, going for the surges. Has this been the downfall of Omar for this race? And maybe he should have hung on a little bit more, maybe scale back that pace. Now we've got Cam Allen, he's on the track, he's going for the sprint finish. This is our winner for the Battersea 10k. Congratulations to Cam Allen. What an impressive performance that we have seen here.
So Danny Greer across the line and Cam Allen across the line. Omar Ahmed there, sub 29 minutes. So Omar's got to be pleased with that. It's still a fantastic run. Back to the race, Jess Gibbon is flying down that home straight now, having a battle with the man in the pink vest. Jess Gibbon flying towards the finish line, and keep your eyes on the clock here because it's going to be sub 32:30, which is a big run for her. Here we go, across the line, 32 minutes and 20 seconds. Fantastic running from Jess Gibbon there. First place, maximum points in the top flight series of the Battersea Park fixture. Brilliant running there, Jess. Well done.